Hey, Michelle, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Hello, everybody. All right. So, I think most people knew or suspected or have listened to me before talk about the fact that I've been a pretty good asshole on this platform for many years. Under what I thought was the right reasons to be an asshole. Unfortunately, when you're an asshole on this platform, whether it's for the right reasons or not, it basically diffuses the argument of what it is you're trying to fight for. And even though you make changes and you try to be better and do better at it, give me 1 second. The puppy's acting up. All right. There are narratives that are done in order to facilitate the de-evolution of somebody's reputation or stance. For whatever reasons, whether it's to help somebody because you hate the person more than you hate the person you're helping, or because there's a clique, or because there's a cliche of ideas and novel events that you want to participate in, or whatever it is. For whatever reasons, everybody has their sides. There's my side, there's your side, there's their side, there's the side. They're just like there's stories. There's the story, there's their story, there's my story, and then there's the truth. One of the things I definitely have never participated in. Hello, Anissa. Hello, Crazy Chicken. One of the things I've never participated in, okay, is uh, outright slander and blasphemy. I've either had somebody verbally say a statement and I've held them to it, or there's an actual court record of said behavior. Okay. So if I've called somebody a pedophile, hello Shannon, it's because either A, they're a pedophile on paper, or B, they've admitted blatantly that they themselves have abused children in a sexual manner. And a sexual manner could be physically, psychologically, or verbally towards a child. To me, I don't care how anybody else sees it, that's a form of sexual abuse. And if you've done those things, that makes you that monster. Now, what's happened on this platform, what was in my eyes was a virtuous fight for the right reasons to protect children, has turned into a massive grift off of children, off of the backs of children, at the cost of getting back at somebody that you dislike, aka Brett the Settlement, Tonic, Nicole, James, Captain Buford, EDP 445, etc. The list goes on of these predatory slash some cases pedophilic people. And when they team up with other people who are problematic, it's not because they think that the person is genuine. For instance, the settlement knows that Ernie has stolen valor. The settlement knows that Ernie is a predator. The settlement knows that Ernie is a scammer. But it serves an interest for the settlement, aka Brett, to facilitate a friendship bond with that person, because the people that Ernie hates, Brett also hates. See how that works? And you can't really fight mind-numbing stupidity online, because people will believe what they want to believe for whatever reasons that they want to believe it, and you cannot change their opinion. Nicole uses false names as a mandated reporter to call in police SWATs on people and CPS investigations on people. and then denies it. Just like she denied calling a funeral home until the video proof was played of her doing it. So no, Nicole does not add and take responsibility for the things she does until it slaps her so hard in the face that she can absolutely not deny it, and then comes up and forms a plan and an excuse to give her permission to have done what she did, despite denying it before that evidence. You see how that works? And they use systems and they rely on systems that are designed to protect actual advocates. Like being a mandated reporter, it's designed for you to protect the advocate, the reporter, and the victim. It's not designed, although it's flawed to protect a predator to turn people into victims. And that's what she is. That's who she is. That's what she is. Now, when you try to reason with somebody like that, you can't. Because what happens is a long, drawn-out, condescending discussion of why she's right and why you're wrong. And in order to facilitate why she's right and why you're wrong, they will always point at the people they dislike and go, they did this. They did that. They said this. They said that, which makes all of these other things okay. But God forbid, you allegedly do the same thing, and then all of a sudden you broke the law, right? Interesting. It's very interesting how that works. I want you all to know this is the last live stream for this channel by me as the owner. I've relinquished control to somebody else. They can do with as they please. Because the one conclusion I've drawn from all of these years of being on this platform is that 90% of the people participating don't want actual justice. They want revenge. And you can't take accountability and be within the law if it's for a vengeful purpose. You can't do it. You can't do it. Now, Nicole likes to call me fat and a faggot. That's her words, faggot. As if I care about either things. I don't care if I was 375 pounds. I used to be. And I don't care if I was gay. I'm not. It doesn't faze me. Those names, she's so used to them working on other people. She's so used to people coming out of pocket with those names. I've been called a faggot by Tammy Spirit Finder for 6 years. It's not going to work. It's not going to. Showing my voicemail that I left Tammy Spirit Finder after she sexualized my daughter and sexually harassed me and admitted to doing it on Steve Billings' panel and then trying to hold me accountable. I don't need to be held accountable for what I do, Nicole. I already admit what I do. I am a fucking asshole, tenacious. When you attack my child and attack me by sending me nudes, which is trying to poke some sort of stump into my marriage, I'm definitely going to respond out of pocket in a way that is not conducive to trying to solve a problem. That's for sure. I am going to 100% come at you with everything I've got with no gloves on and no rhyme or reason why. I'm going to do it. I'm going to send you messages. I'm going to email you. I'm going to text message you. I'm going to send you Twitter messages. I'm going to leave you voicemails because I, at that time, didn't give a fuck. I didn't care because you went after my child. Now, today, 6 years later, I do things a little differently. And even by doing things differently with more respect, let's say, it still does not do nothing, because if you're going up against somebody that has no lines, like when you use the R word, when you sexually traumatize other people's children for revenge, when you go after somebody's job for revenge, when you want to comment on the size of their penis or the sexuality of their preference. Like, you cannot respectfully fight somebody like that online, because it's not going to work. When you know, and this goes out to Redstone, Rebecca, when you know for a fact Ernie Shell is stolen valor and you support stolen valor, don't come to me and tell me I disarmored the uniform. I'm not in the uniform anymore. I uphold the Constitution of the United States, not the uniform. Okay? I didn't swear an oath to a uniform, and I didn't swear an oath to a flag. I swore an oath to the Constitution of the United States. It doesn't matter whether I'm a Republican, independent, or Democrat. And I'm not a Democrat. You don't believe I'm not a Democrat? Talk to my spouse. You know, the one you claim I yell at and treat poorly after 28 years of marriage. Let me explain to you what a real country girl would do to a man that belittles them and verbally abuses them with their mouths and yells at them. Okay, they're gonna pack your shit and they're gonna kick you the fuck out of their house. Because if you think for a moment that anything I own is mine, it's not. It's my spouse's. Everything I have, everything I am, is due to my spouse, the backbone of our family. Okay, the matriarch. And I respect that position and that duty that she provides with 100% conviction. Our spiritual and full-on loving marriage and relationship stems from trials and tribulations throughout the journey of that marriage. When somebody who's on partner number 5 or marriage number 4 or marriage number 3, or in a marriage from somebody from a biker gang that used to be passed around, and you're going to come to me and talk to me about my marriage, I have no idea how to respond to that, because I don't know what it's like to be in a marriage that is based on what you get out of it, like your gains from it, or how popular you are at the motorcycle club, or how many times you've been married, or how big your house is. Like, I don't need a house. I don't know if people get this. I don't need a house. That's not a home. The home is the heart and soul of the family. That's the home. I don't need one. I don't need a physical domain. I could live in a rundown shack, which I currently probably technically classify as, and be fine. You know why? Because I have a loving, committed spouse, and I have children that have exceeded the expectations of their parents. That is the goal of a parent, folks, for your children to exceed you. It's not a competition, Nicole, about who's the better parent. It's a competition to ensure that your child becomes better than you. The child, not the abandoned child, Ernie, not the removed child, Nicole. It's not your job, Nicole, Rebecca, Ernie, Charlie, Renee, Christine. It's not your job. It's what you stand for. And what you all are standing for is a man who is point proven stolen valor by the Inspector General of the Kentucky National Guard. Point, set, match. I need to prove nothing more. It's done. It's Ernie's job to take me to court and prove that that information is false. And since Ernie deals in just lies, scams, and role plays, that's impossible to do, because redacted forms won't work in a court of law. It's not my job to take him to court. It's his job to take me to court and prove beyond a reasonable doubt that I forged those forms and or forged his signatures. And since neither of those things happened by me or anyone in this household, I win, because he would have to prove his documents are fake, and he can't. That's why Ernie does not go to the National Guard to speak to the Inspector General, Major Cobbs, face to face on camera and ask Major Cobbs of the Kentucky National Guard Inspector General's office if he is a veteran, because he can't. That is why Ernie doesn't go to the commissioner's office of the Transportation Department to ask him why his license was reissued, because he failed to provide evidence to the commissioner that he is a veteran. That is why if you call the Perry County Sheriff's Office, I'm putting this information out for people to research. Do your work. Research it. Call the Perry County Sheriff's Office, ask about the report from Ernie Shell on Angelo Stevens, and guess what they will tell you? Yes, Angelo Stevens contacted us and provided a rebuttal. And guess what the rebuttal does? It rebuts everything he said in that statement. Same thing with the state police. Same thing with the Kentucky Perry County Attorney's Office. The county attorney is basically other versions of a district attorney. And everything that's warrant-based goes through the district attorney's office to get signed off by them, then to go to a judge. I've been in contact with the lady there repetitively. You want to call her? Call her. I'll give you the number. Let's see. 606-436-4733, the Perry County DA's office. I asked her permission prior to giving that number out and said, can I have people call you to verify the information that I'm going to be putting out online? And she said, absolutely. Now, she's going to tell you some of the observations she saw from Ernie. I don't know. She definitely was very open with me. Okay. You know, she knows he's running for governor, but it's still a very polite lady. So of course she's going to nod her head north and south. Okay. But I'm not going to sit here and fight a veteran, an actual veteran, Redstone, Rebecca, because I do respect the uniform and I respect the oath. So I'm going to leave it at that. She is the one protecting Ernie Shell, a known stolen valor person, by far. And if she doesn't think that he's stolen valor, which she's repeated that he is numerous times, it's because she dislikes me and or my friends more than she hates stolen valor. Let that sink in for a moment, folks. The men and women that died for this country so that morons like Ernie and Nicole can run around doing the fuck shit that they do. It's more important to them to help them because they hate us. Shannon made a good post. She was trying to understand like how people get. That's how people support it, Shannon. They support it because it is better for them to team up with somebody who also hates us than it is to hold that person accountable. Because what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen, is fear. Redstone knows that Ernie knows where she is, just like I do. They know where she is, and she's afraid that Ernie's going to put it out. So it's easier for her to side with that, just like Nicole knows where Redstone is. Some people live their lives in fear, and they hate bond over the fear. Some people are broken and lonely, so they cling to anything that will pay them attention, even if that's an abusive, online, self-satisfying relationship between a narcissist and somebody else. It's like, I don't get it. I can't live like that. I don't want to be in relationships with people based on fear, and I don't want to be in relationships with people that abuse me for the sake of fitting in. Angelo hates women. Angelo hates women. Predominantly, that's who I'm defending on this platform is women. But whether you have a vagina or a penis is irrelevant to me. It doesn't matter to me what your sexuality is, what the color of your skin is, what God you pray to, or how many kids you've put through college and have joined the military. None of that matters to me. What matters to me is the content of your character and the actions of your behaviors. And if you're a predatory person towards children for the sake of being a vengeful chaos agent, cunt, and I don't mean the Australian version of cunt, I mean the American version of cunt. Yeah, I'm going to call you out. It doesn't matter to me what you have parked in your underwear. Okay? But I'm not going to hate you, because that's really what they want, folks. They want you to hate them. Ernie wants people to hate him. Nicole wants people to. And by the way, Nicole, let me correct you on something. The whole I don't care, I don't give a shit, I don't care, I don't give a shit argument, that is, for somebody who's supposed to be intelligent, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because every time you hop on a panel and every time you do a live stream while tagging people, it very much shows that you care. That's why I don't get up here and say, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Because that would be stupid. That'd be a dumb argument because you're streaming about it. So you definitely care. You care enough to hide your identity when you make false calls. So you definitely care. You definitely care. You care. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it. That's such a dumb-ass argument. Calling me fat, calling me a fag because you want me to have this like crazy response to you. I pray for you, Nicole, because you need it. You need something besides hate. I tried the hate path for years. Doesn't work. Really, it doesn't. Call me AI Angelo. I bank my check every fucking week from Amazon and from Barnes & Noble, from Spotify, from iTunes. I'll bank that check every. You can call me AI, whatever the fuck you want. AI faggot Angelo, AI fat Angelo, AI yells at his wife Angelo, AI Angelo has a disabled son. It's differently abled, folks. That boy has more heart and soul in his finger than most people on this platform have in their entire body. So you're never going to get me to come out of pocket on that, because I'm proud of that kid. That kid is 10 times the man I'll ever be. You know why? Because I gave him everything I didn't have. I gave him lessons on how to be respectful to women and never put your hands on a woman, ever. Never to take advantage of children or vulnerable individuals. To always give when you have the extra to give, because there are people less fortunate than ourselves out there. And I've given on this platform until it hurts. I have given until it hurts. And there have been some very thankful people out there, and I'm very appreciative of it. There have been some good people that have gotten the help that they needed because of our family's donations and because of our side chat who donated periodically, because all the money that came in went to that. I never kept any of it because I don't need it. And that brings me to the next point. Why does a man who have a $50,000 contract over the next 4 months need donations to buy gear that is being given to him by the same company that he has the contract for $50,000? I would like an answer to that. I find it very curious. Curious enough to inquire the IRS to see if things are being claimed correctly. I mean, see something, say something. Fraud. I report fraud. I report scams. I report stolen valor. I report. I cannot make any agency, just like Ernie can't make any agency do anything that they don't want to do. I can't make them charge him. I can't make them violate him. I can't make them put him back in prison where he definitely belongs, along with Nicole. I can't make them do anything. All I can do is report and show their videos. That's it. That's all I can do. It's up to them. It's their job to investigate. And if he's not in jail, then he's not in jail. But at least I did my part. I reported it. I reported it because that's the obligation of this citizen to report when I see crime. When somebody says that they're going to drag somebody out of their home and beat them after they get off of probation, that's reportable. When somebody extorts people for thousands of dollars in exchange for making things go away, that's reportable. When somebody claims they're the killer inside and can make you disappear, that's reportable. I can't make them do anything. I report to Kentucky, and I report to Virginia, and I report to Pennsylvania. And when I'm in New York, I will report to New York as well. I will have a file in every state that I go to, that I'm in order to create a record so that should somebody show up on my property, I will let you right now know I will protect everything I love with lethal force. Ernie won't go to the National Guard Inspector General because he is not a veteran. Ernie will not go talk to Matthew Cole at the commissioner's office for his driver's license because he is not a veteran. Ernie will not go to the VA hospital in Louisville, Kentucky, live on camera and check in at Deers because Ernie is not a veteran. You want to be a LARPer on predator hunting? You want to be a driver for whatever you want to drive? I don't give a shit about any of that stuff because that's not in my wheelhouse. You want to say I dishonored the uniform because I call people? Have you been into a combat zone? Have you been trained in urban combat? Do you think there's rules on how you respectfully talk to people in a combat situation? That's not how it works. And that's very much, if you think it's not, that's very much what this is online. It's a verbal combat situation until it becomes real life. When some crazy idiot decides to call your police station and tell them that you're armed and doing threats, and you send SWAT to their house, or when you make a false CPS call to get some person back at some person and then end up putting their children through some sort of a medical examination, and then admit that you wouldn't have done it had you known that, but then in the same sentence admit that they deserved it. For what? For calling you out? For calling you out? That's what it was? Thank God for weed is all I got to say. Thank God for weed. Folks, if you think Peachy and Ghost trusted Jimbo for one spitting fucking second, they didn't. They didn't. They certainly did not trust him. They knew that he would never give up anything. But the mere fact that he said it was enough to bring out hashtag the long summer. Wasn't it? Wasn't it? Want to know how I knew? Because he's a grifter for money. And if you offer money and they still can't do something, that means they never had it, folks. They just know it because it was verbally told to them. Verbally. And if you think for a moment that those core people, we all talk behind the scenes, people. All of us. Why are we pretending, not we in general, but some folks pretending like they don't talk to people behind the scenes? You do. Everybody does. It's not a secret. Because Lord knows if you do it online, shit hits the fan and then everything goes sideways. You know, like when you're trying to get somebody arrested and then calling the hospital to warn the person you're trying to get arrested so that they can escape getting arrested. you're not really like in it though, Mr. Nobody. You're kind of like, I don't know. I don't even want to see like you're part of the problem, because you're really not. You're just kind of enjoying everything, which is fine. I mean, everybody has their place that they want to be. I don't care what chats people go to. I don't care if people go to Hell's Kells or Kel's Bell's chat or Sarah's chat or Trader's chat or Settlement's chat or Vid's chat or Katie's chat or Nicole's. I don't care where people go. I don't even care who they give money to. What I care about is the content of what's being done and what you're supporting behind that. Like, what the fuck? Like, you got Brett comparing having sex with an adult to a 12-year-old's vagina, folks. That's not okay. You want to talk about Spirit Finder, Ernie and Nicole? Let's talk about Spirit Finder. You want to talk about Cecil? Let's talk about Cecil. Both have admitted to sex crimes. Sex crimes. The things that you guys supposedly stand against, right? They've admitted to it. Online. One, Cecil, for clout. His own words. His own words. He called it a childhood testimony. That at 16 and 17 and 18, he was having sex with a 9 and 10-year-old that he was babysitting. And then in the same breath said, that doesn't make him a child molester. No, it does. It very much makes you a child molester. And it took me and my brother 4 years to get that dumb motherfucker off this platform. But he's gone, because there's one thing I am. One thing I am. Tenacious. Unrelenting. And I don't quit. What I have to stop doing is the online shit, because it turns into a contest of who can go worse and worse, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and who can go lower, and who can make the worst phone calls, and who can do this, and who can do that to each other. I'm not interested in that game, because what happens is your kids get hurt, their kids get hurt, their jobs get hurt, or their spouses get hurt. And I'm not interested in that. My target, especially when it came to Spirit Finder, was Spirit Finder. Until she brought my kids into it. Until she brought my marriage into it. And because I was not a refined person, because I was in my fuck the world and fuck people persona outside of my family, I just went the fuck all in. But I'll tell you one thing, and people, you can disagree with it or not. Her son, Scott, more soldier than Ernie ever will be. Want to know why? He completed basic. He completed AIT. He had a medical discharge. So he's more soldier than Ernie Shell is. He deserves that respect and honor. And he has my respect and honor for that. Ernie, he pushed out. Watch Ernie on camera when he's talking to police. He is shaking and scared of police. Ernie, supposed veteran, wants to fuck the Constitution and burn it down and put everybody in jail for 10 days so they can see and experience what it's like. Because fuck the rights of humans. Fuck civil liberties. Fuck all that shit. Let's just put them all in jail. The next Kentucky governor. Like, and so, like, to sit here and think to ourselves, like, do people actually believe this? No. Nobody believes it. Nobody that's even supporting him believes it. It's because Ernie hates the people that they hate. That's why they're there. Oh, Michelle, you brought up a great point, because that's where I want to close on. Trust. Trust. Boy, that's a big fucking word on this platform, isn't it, folks? Trust. Trust. What is trust? Let's see. Trust. I don't know. Recorded phone calls of a man claiming to be a Green Beret. Recorded phone calls of a man claiming to have gone to Desert Storm at the age of 11 in Syria with 19 kills. A man who admits to being the killer inside. A man who has stated that he would like to duct tape children to ceiling fans. A man who, if you think I treat women badly, that man treats women sexually bad, emotionally bad, psychologically bad, and it doesn't matter whether that woman's done something bad to him or not. If you disagree with him, he eviscerates you. Ernie, eviscerate. That's what you do. Trust. Trust is, as a soldier, even remotely supporting stolen valor makes you stolen valor. You are part of the problem, not the solution. I don't wear the uniform. So how exactly have I dishonored the uniform? I uphold the Constitution of the United States, a document written by people who knew years before today that we would be in a situation in a world like today. It wouldn't matter if he knew they were for it or not, Mr. Nobody, because he was making claims like that live prior to his arrest, after his arrest, and after his release. He's a liar. He's a liar because he hates who he is. And that's what it comes down to. They must really hate who and what they are so badly that they have to hurt everything and everyone around them in order to have some semblance of an emotional reaction. And people like this, these people, they hid in group homes and orphanages and institutions. I mean, it's obviously a show, Mr. Nobody, but like when you start making money on stolen valor, when you start using fraudulent documents in stolen valor, when you start getting identification cards with stolen valor, that becomes a problem. No, I've never been to combat. I've been to combat training with soldiers that I had sent on missions as part of INSCOM that were killed in action and did not make it home, which is the reason why I take stolen valor as seriously as I do. So, no, I have never physically been to a combat zone. I have been to combat training, urban combat training, Louisiana with 10th Mountain. And then I transferred to MI, military intelligence. And then in military intelligence, we sent soldiers out on what's called wise taskers, short missions, sometimes dangerous, sometimes not, depending on what was needed from either the Pentagon or White House Communications or Central Intelligence or whatever. And like I said, some of those soldiers, and my wife will remind you, some of those soldiers didn't make it back, and I had to do funerals for people that I served with, and it sucks. So, like, even remotely stealing that honor from veterans is going to irritate the fuck out of me. And that's kind of why I have to kind of like stop doing this, because it's eventually it's going to make me come out of pocket, and I don't want to be that person anymore. I was that person years ago. I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't want to be that person that, you know, I don't want to be Ernie Shell. I don't want to be Nicole. I don't want to be Jimbo. I don't want to be EDP 445. I don't want to be Captain Buford. I don't want to be Cecil. I don't want to be Spirit Finder, where just the sheer hate and anger is the only reason for your existence. I think there's enough people covering Ernie and enough people covering Nicole that I don't really need to be involved in it, anymore. I've done everything I can possibly legally, ethically do to prove who and what Ernie Shell is. And as for Nicole, well, I don't need to do anything. She's proven from day one who and what she is. So, like, short of breaking the law yourself, there's nothing else you can do. And I mean, I'm not willing to compromise my integrity for them. They're broken chaos agent human beings, and even that human being word for me, it's a far fetch. It is a far fetch. I don't know. I don't know how she lives with herself, to be honest with you. I have no idea how you exist as that such. I mean, like, even Satan himself is not that evil. Like, I don't get it. I really don't. So if that's who you want to be, then live your life, Nicole. But that's not you. But you're describing my relationship with my wife and telling me that I'm a Democrat and that, like, just because I happen to know what a catch and release date is. Like, no, I'm 100% Republican. I believe if you're a criminal, you belong in prison until your sentence is served out. I don't believe in being released up until trial. I don't believe in bond. I don't believe in any of that shit. I think if you commit a crime, you should do the time. Yes, you should have equal rights under the law to defend yourself, but while you're defending yourself, do it from behind a jail cell. Okay? But just because I'm a Republican doesn't mean that I believe that people's rights should be fucking stomped on either. So if the law says you can have a bond, you get a bond. I don't agree with it. I don't agree in a bunch of old perverted men telling women what they can and can't do with their bodies. Certainly don't believe that. I'm 100% against abortion. But that's my personal spiritual belief. And the minute I make a law or attempt to make a law or work with people to make a law to prevent that, I am forcing my religious beliefs, the very core foundation of why America is America. I'm now forcing those beliefs onto a person that may not believe the same thing. So, how is that? How's that fair? So, I don't know what you guys have planned. There are people that have my email and my phone number, and I will always be there for you guys if you need some help. Ethically, as long as it's ethical and moral, I'll be there for you. Just call me up or send me an email, and I'll do what I can. Because they still need to be fought. Don't get me wrong. They still need to be fought. They're evil. But you can't fight them online. Document it, stamp it, save it. Document it, stamp it, save it. Because eventually, they're going to come to court. Somebody or something is going to happen. And they're going to need to have somebody like you guys there to document what they've done over the journey. But you definitely can't be entertaining them online. Because every time you do, you give them an out. You give them wiggle room. Traders knows what I'm talking about. Can't give them room to wiggle out. So you got to do it offline, and you got to do it quiet. And you got to stop advertising what you're doing. Spirit Finder. I pray that one day you move on and you find something in your heart that allows you to move forward. Because like I said, After you told me I needed to get fucked more by priests, and after you sexualized my kid, and after I had that long ass fucking 1 year or 2 year battle with you, I knew I was becoming you. I was becoming you. And you were loving every fucking moment of it. And unfortunately, it defeated everything I was trying to do and everything I was trying to accomplish. Remember, Spirit Finder? Remember I needed to be fucked by priest more when I was a kid? When I was 5, 6, 7 years old? Remember, Spirit Finder? Remember? Yeah, you said that. It doesn't bother me anymore. I've told my story. My story's in a book. It's out there. It's not Dog the Bounty Hunter story. It's Angelo's story. I stand by advocating for children. All children. Whether you like the person who's their parent or not. We need to defend and protect all children. And I lowered myself to a standard and started going after her family and her kid because of how angry and upset I was. And it made me completely lose the argument. See, that's what I can do, Nicole, Ernie, James. I can own being a vindictive prick on this platform. And I was. And it completely obliterated my story. Now, what could have happened was I could still be fighting that woman to this day. Because trust me, memory like an elephant, she will never forget anything. Only what she's done will she forget. But nothing you do to her, she'll never. If you picked a flea off her dog's collar in 1977, she will tell you what color shirt you were wearing and what cologne you had on. But if you asked her what she streamed when she went through the cemetery and broke the Mason's tombstone, she won't remember that. Nah. Or when she crashed the car when she was drinking and driving, she won't remember that. She won't remember that. Yeah. Multiple marriages, all of these people. Broken relationships, inability to maintain actual relationships with actual human beings. I'm not interested in that. And that's where I will head if I continue on this path with these people. I mean, Rowdy, like, who gets online knowing that there's a child missing and then claims to have that child when you know the psychopathic father is going to go to your, at that time, friend's house to go find their daughter that you're claiming is either there or at your house? I've never done that. I don't get it. Like, and then you talk about people's kids as though, like, you're some sort of a prize at parenting when you're not. Okay? Because you're in a contest with other parents who aren't even remotely interested in being in a contest with you as a parent. They're just interested in being parents. That's it. I hope the best for all of you guys. I really do. And I pray for you and my enemies because Lord knows you need it. There are so many better problems to work on in this world than to argue with a bunch of morons online. Shannon, Mr. Nobody's not allied with anybody. He hates shit music. He hates shit AI. He hates shit music, and he hates shit art. Although he's never offered to fix mine, so whatever. Anyways, long story short, I'm going to focus on building up a couple of friends' channels that need to be built up and managed. Still do the counter strikes and stuff, but I'm not doing panels. Not doing live streams after this. You want to build a store and start selling merch? Send me an email. I'll help you build a store. But you're going to have to find somebody better than me to do the art. Trust me on that. I can't do art for shit online anyway. But if you want a store and you want to start selling your own merch, your own shirts, sandals, socks, towels, coats, hats, watches, whatever, I'll help you build a store. Because there are channel creators out here like Shannon, like Traders, like Nana, like Constance, deserve to have a good store and sell some shit and make some money. And I'd like to see them. I'm going to focus on my books because I got to finish the Social Media Predators. Who the fuck are we talking to? I got to finish book 2 and 3 of Underlight City of Dreams. And I got a bunch of book events coming up for that first book. So I'm going to be busy this summer anyway. You know, I know my foster dad wants to go back to Guam and Japan again. So glad you guys like the stories. If you guys want some music made or whatever, you can email me things you want in the song. I'll make you guys songs. I'll copyright the songs for you so you can have the copyright. You can copyright AI songs, by the way. I don't know why people are saying you can't. That's it. That's all I got. Anybody got any questions, concerns, comments, arguments? You want to call me a bunch of names? Anything? Yeah, only the lyrics, Mr. Nobody, not the actual beats. Viper, will you ever think about hazelnut coffee flavor? I would have to get another vendor, Chica. If you know a good vendor for hazelnut coffee, or where a good place the bean comes from, let me know and I'll research it and I'll add it. What did you think of the you got Rock Creek? What'd you get? Yeah, I'll still say hi. I'm just not doing panels, folks. I know what the limits of my stamina to not come out of pocket is, and I've reached it. Oh, I'm glad you liked it, Chica. Thank you so much. Yeah, the limits of what I'm capable of holding back from have been reached, folks. I'm at a point where if I respond now, it'll be in a way that is vindictive, evil, targeting towards people that aren't even part of the problem. That's basically where I'd be. And I don't want to be that person. There's enough of them online. I don't need to add to it. Shell ops. It's real satire news. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's other capable writers out there that could take. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take them all and add them to the book. For Internet Predators, who the hell are we talking to, or who the fuck are we talking to? I don't know if I could title a book. I suppose I could title a book. Fuck a book. I don't know. But yeah, I think I should put those satires into a book. Especially an ebook. An ebook would be great. I think that's all I got. I'll work on the coffee thing, Chica. And that's another thing. Like people, Chica, you're a prime example of going where the fuck you want to go and doing what the fuck you want to do. Like, I have no issues with Chica, folks. Chica goes everywhere. But look at what she says and how she says things. She doesn't degrade anybody. She's a respectful person. You know, I have no issues with people that do that. None whatsoever. Mr. Nobody. Guys, I'm not a good man, folks. I want to be a good man. My son is a good man. I am not a good man. I am an asshole that is vindictive and wants to get even with everybody that does wrong. And that is not a good person. There's a potential of being a good person. And in order to do that, sometimes you do have to walk away from the possibility of becoming that person again. Like I know what I'm capable of as far as fighting online and doing the dirty deeds on people. That's not me. Like I have no need or want to break the law. I have no need or want to hide who I am. Definitely have never been arrested, never been on probation, not a child molester, as Ernie, Shell, and Nicole had each claimed at some point. Like those are not me, but they want people to think those things are me so that I learn that that's what people are thinking, and then I come out of pocket because that's what they need. They need me to be that person so that they have steam in their little engines that couldn't to continue to stream. Not me, folks. Not going to be that. Not going to do that. Can't do that. Chica, you are a fine example of how I think I want to be. I want to be that person that could just sit there and just say, "Yeah, fuck it, I don't give a shit." Not that I don't give a shit. That's not the right term because you do care. I know that. I'm not going to let it affect me, kind of a thing. That's speak in memes and you'll be fine. I want to be I want to be back to a point where the shit doesn't bother me anymore. And right now it's at an all-time high of how much of a scamming lie deception that is going on. And it's not just, that's the problem, is because it's not just Ernie, folks. It's everybody that hates everybody else that Ernie hates in aiding in the scam. Because I mean, literally, if you know a person is stolen valor and you're donating money to them, you're part of the scam. I don't know if you guys can, not you guys, but I don't know. There's no other way around it for me to see it. Like, you're giving money to a guy who is stolen valor. You are participating in stolen valor. So you can't sit there and tell me that you respect soldiers while you're giving not a soldier money, pretending to be a soldier. And that is the historical, evidenced, visually live streamed, recorded, documented behaviors of that specific three people. They are all liars and scammers for hire. And it's designed. Yeah, there you go. You're supporting people who exploit children. Thank you, Shannon. And we're supposed to be against that. At least that is my inclination to believe. We're supposed to be against that. Sometimes when you're doing it, you're calling it out. And you're trying to be professional about it. And nobody gives a fuck about the professional side of it. Like, literally, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck if you're ethical. Nobody gives a fuck if you're doing it with honor. When I say nobody, I'm talking about when you're fighting those people, they don't care about integrity or honor unless it's against them. That's how it works. It's like if I had called the bar that Ernie was at with his niece, we would still be hearing about it today, folks. To this day, Angelo called the bar and got him kicked out saying he was selling drugs. Yeah, we would still be hearing that today. But Nicole does it. And it's okay. Because Nicole and Ernie are friends. They're not enemies. They're friends. Anybody that helps somebody escape capture of police 3 times and then states that they're hiding a child that's missing and then false calls CPS on people and makes false calls to police stations about people. Yeah, that's a friend. That's a friend, folks. That's a friend. If you hop up on a panel with Ernie Shell and ask him to turn your camera on, I got $100. If I get up there, $100 says he can't turn my camera on. $100 tells he can't tell you my IP address. $100 he won't walk into the Department of the Army's Inspector General's office and ask them on camera if he's a veteran. On camera. At the VA. At the Inspector General's office. He won't do it. Because he's not, folks. That's all I got. God bless you all. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Help out your fellow man or woman or child. Have a cup of coffee with a homeless person and ask them about their life. Write a book. Write a story. Write a song. Make a meme. Do something. Much love to you all. Be safe.